Scrappy friends. I hope that you are having a great week, and I have a fun layout for you today that is part of the SpiegelMOm Scraps and Creative Embellishments product swap hop that we're doing. So if you want to check out the blog hop and a chance to win a prize from SpiegelMOm Scraps, I believe it's $25 in credit, in store credit, but you have to go through the whole hop and you have to comment on all of the layouts throughout the hop. But it's super fun, and it's a fun way to see how people are using lots of different products and lots of fun layouts and other projects. So I hope that you guys check that out. It'll be in the info box below so that you can find my layout and then go ahead and follow the hop. But I am going to get straight to this because obviously I am just going already. So for this layout, the layout, when I started it, I was definitely not really sure exactly where I was going to go with this. And I was thinking that I was just going to use this one really big picture with 4 or 5 smaller pictures. I printed off that one big picture, and it's about 8.5 by 11 or 8 by 10 roughly. I think I used an 8 by 10 size piece of photo paper, and this is it's glossy. I use an HP printer at home, so I print everything at home for the most part, and I really enjoy being able to do it at home. I've tried to do it, like order my prints a little bit, but I just find that it's just so much easier to do it at home. It does not always cost. The cost is probably more doing it at home, but I find that the convenience of doing it at home makes it so much worth it for me. Now, and I know this is different, and because I've been on like a spending freeze or trying not to spend as much money on products and stuff, trying to find ways that I can do things differently, and I just found that creatively, not being able to print off my photos when I wanted to kind of was a big downer for me, and it really impacted me being able to be more creative on my layouts, just because, and I think it's just a mental thing. Sometimes when you're used to doing something a certain way and then you switch it up and you change it, just mentally your brain gets a little confused. And so I think for me that's really what it was. But anyway, so I took and I printed off a really big photo, and sometimes I like to do this, just taking a photo that's amazing and printing it off really big and making it the center point of your layout. So I was thinking that I was going to do that and then have some smaller photos because I have tons of photos from this day. This was when we first got into Washington, and we were doing quite a bit of stuff. And one of the things that we decided to do was go to the train museum that's in our area. You can take and ride on a real steam train, and our kids absolutely love trains, and we love to do this kind of thing. We are museum and zoo people, and we love to go and do this and just learn and see things. And so this was like right up our alley, and I'm so glad that we did it. And I have tons of great photos, so of course I want to scrap them. And as I was going, I realized, well, one, I had wanted to do 5 down at the bottom, but it just wasn't going to work with the size. I think those are 2 by 3 photos, and some were horizontal and some were vertical, and that didn't really bother me. But the fact that I couldn't get all of them on underneath kind of bugged me, because my thought was that I'd do the big photo and then all the little ones, and it just wasn't working. So as I was going, I just decided, hey, I'm going to do a double page layout. I've done them quite a bit before because of my series. That I'll make sure the playlist is down below so that you can see where I do quite a bit of double page layouts. And so I just decided, you know what, I'm just going to go for it, and I'm just going to go where it leads me. And this is the part of scrapbooking that I absolutely love. It's my favorite part, of where you think you have an idea, or maybe you sort of have an idea, and then it just completely gets blown away because it goes somewhere else. The page takes you somewhere completely, absolutely different than where you started from. And this is the part that I absolutely love about, like I said, about scrapbooking, is that you can start off with an idea and the layout will just take you somewhere completely different. And I absolutely love this. This is probably one of my favorite layouts that I've done this year, and almost maybe even one of my favorite layouts just in general. And I think, I don't know if it's because it has so many elements as far as so many photos that I absolutely love. I don't know if it is paired with the idea of that I just really had a good time when we did this activity, that being able to see all the pieces together, or just like a combination of everything. I just absolutely love it. So one of the things that I wanted to do also was make these shakers. Now, I did not tape me making them because as I got going, and I did start taping it, but as I got going, these were really, really difficult to make because I had no idea what the heck I was doing. So I'm just going to be honest right now. That is why I didn't share. I find that sometimes when you're doing something and you're not really sure how you're going to do it, that it can just take a long process. And those, I think, took a little over a day to completely all the way finish, because I started it at one time and then I had to go back and redo them because they just didn't turn out the way that I wanted. And my envision was to take those circles, and those are from the Creative Embellishments, and they're chipboard circles, and they reminded me of the train wheels, right? So, which is why I wanted to use them, and I thought, hey, these would be great to house sequin shakers, and I wanted it to be clear on the outside, so that, like using clear acetate, so that you could see. Now, because I had to do that, obviously you have to adhere the acetate to the chipboard, and because it's a circle, it has to go all the way around, and so that was where my complication kind of arose. And basically what I ended up finding out was that liquid glue the ones that I had just weren't working, and they popped off from the acetate. So I ended up I have the American Crafts red double tape red line glue, like sticky tape, and so I just cut it really, really thin and in small things, and I placed it all the way around. It took forever, but it's so worth it. And I was actually surprised that you really can't see that glue, because that was one of my problems, was that I was afraid that you'd be able to see more of the glue. And actually I think you can see more of the leftover glue from the wet glue that I had, more than the actual red line tape. I mean, you can see it a little bit, but it's not too bad. And I'm not too much of a stickler, because you know what, in the end, like, your family's not going to go put it right up to their face and go, hey mom, I can see the glue. Like, they really don't care. So, you know, as long as there's something in the album that is just kind of fun and interactive, you know, they really like that. So I absolutely love how they turned out, and I did use some of the cards, the acetate that had like wording on it. So the one says "On an Adventure," and I know that some of Adventure got cut off, but I actually kind of really like that. So I just love how those little elements kind of paired together to work to make a really, really fun element on my layout. And yeah. So now you just see me putting lots of different stuff on, and I'm trying not to go crazy because there are so many photos. There's absolutely so much stuff to see on this layout. Sometimes if you over embellish, it can just kind of take away from what you're looking at, but I have to have something. And so as I'm playing around with these mountains, I knew I wanted to use these on here, and maybe they are a little too much, but I don't care. I really wanted to use them because they reminded me of Mount Rainier, and you can't see it in the photo, really, in any of the photos, because you couldn't see Mount Rainier at all. But this is out near Mount Rainier, and on a really good clear day, you can see it really awesome because you're like 10 miles away from Mount Rainier. And of course it wasn't necessarily cloudy that day, but it was cloudy enough that in the Pacific Northwest, basically if there's any amount of moisture in the air, clouds just accumulate right near the mountain. And this is like I think this was in the early July, and it was just starting to come out of the rainy part of the year. And so just like everything from winter is melting around Mount Rainier, and so it just kind of tons of clouds. It's really hard to see Mount Rainier until probably like August, I think. But and then in the winter you can see it because it's all nice and snowy. But anyway, so so I added quite a bit of stuff on. I wanted to add a lot of tickets, so that's what you see me playing around with there. I put those on some pop dots, and then I'm going to use some of these wood buttons. I know I'm like so almost done with this layout, ain't I? Yeah, I'm almost done. This, guys, this layout really, when I put it all together, besides the shakers, those took me forever, but the actual layout really only took like an hour to put together. It was super quick, and it was just because like it was just going. There was the, you know, it had a mind of its own, and it just went, and I just went with it. So I did add, I'm adding some of the puffy stickers from the Shimel line. So I just kind of was thinking about the colors, and I wanted to keep with some greens and blues. And I wanted it to have a fun aspect because that Dear Lizzie paper is just like super fun and really bright and colorful. But I also didn't want to like overdo it with different types of patterns. So for the title, I'm just going to put all aboard. I didn't really get super creative, but I actually really wanted to use these stickers because I haven't used them yet. And these are from the Shimel line, and they're just super fun. They're super fun. They're like the board, the destination boards or whatever, like in the airport and stuff. So I put all on one side, and then I put a board on the other side. I don't really care that it's on separate sides. I feel like it flows pretty well. I mean, obviously it's not mirrored or anything, but that's the thing that I like about double page layouts is that you can kind of make them your own and fit the style that you scrap. And that's just what I do. I try not to overthink it and overanalyze it because then you can just get nitpicky about lots of different things. But I think that in general, you just kind of have to go with what your gut says. So if your gut says it needs to flow, then you make it flow. If your gut says just do whatever feels right, do whatever feels right, right? So that's the great thing about scrapbooking is that you can do that. So now what you see is me just placing a few extra sequins, and I'm using the new sequins in the shop that should be right for March, and I use Pandora's Ombre and Green Acres, and they're both really fun and spring-like, and they are perfect for this layout. So awesome. I absolutely loved how this turned out, and it's just super fun. So I hope that you guys check out the blog hop and see all the different stuff that everybody made on the design team, and both Creative Embellishments and SpiegelMOm Scraps. All of our design teams are taking part in this, so there's tons of stuff for you to see and be inspired by. And also, you know, don't forget that if you guys want to go over to the SpiegelMOm Scraps store and check out what Jody has, she has tons of sequins, she has tons of shimmer stuff, lots of fun stuff to play with. If you use my code, and I'll make sure I have that in the info box below, you can get a discount. And I will see you guys later with lots more stuff this week. I promise, I promise. This week, well, there's going to be tons of stuff. So I will see you guys later, and I hope you guys have enjoyed your day.